Hailing back from the days of the original Medarot 1, this long-forgotten model has finally got a chance to be in the spotlight with a new model and a fully new kit to bring himself up to spec. It is RIC00 Mad Muscle, with a kit of Trap Clear, Break, Press, Tank Legs, and the leg ability of Trap Buster, which removes any traps placed on the user's side of the field if active. Now, being completely honest, a lot of people have been dreaming and wondering about models from the original Medarot 1 coming back at varying points of Medarot S's success. One of the most popular ones that has been mostly requested is the rather strange Frankenstein skeletal type of Mad Muscle. And given that he's been back from the days of the original Medarot, he's seen it all. He's been there from the very beginning. And as far as his original kit is concerned compared to his new one here, there really wasn't a whole lot of change and has stayed pretty consistent with what he brings to the table. Trap Clear on the head part is a healing type skill that, when activated, will remove any traps that are placed on the user's side of the field. These traps can include anything such as Disturbance, Shoot Trap, Melee Trap, Charge Trap, or anything else of the like. Mad Muscle says, "No sir, I will not allow those on my watch," and make it abundantly clear that he's going to keep the field as clean as possible when it comes to keeping things ready for his allies, and basically making it clear so that their allies can attack unhindered if the enemies like using passive aggression. Break and Press on the right and left arms, though, are gravity attribute skills that get their bonuses from one of two places. The first of which is, as gravity skills, they get a success bonus relative to their charge gauge. Break gets a lower one at a times 1.5 and 2, where Press gets a times 2 and times 3 typically. At the trade-off, though, Break also can deal piercing damage. So if it breaks something, it's able to carry over some carryover damage to other parts until it runs out, where Press gets a higher success bonus, but does not. The other thing that Break and Press do also get to their advantage is their ability of Heavy Punish. This means that if the enemy that they're attacking is packing 2 or more heavy parts, the extra weight will most certainly become their detriment as they eat bonus punish damage for packing on the weight. Whereas if they're only packing 1 or no heavy parts, they're probably not going to be feeling too much of a tap, if anything, but maybe an occasional crit. And with both of them packing success stats in the mid-1300s, Mad Muscle's going to have pretty solidly consistent time hitting very solid hits in general, and even occasional crits relatively consistently. Tank Legs means that he's going to have basically balanced coverage across all terrains at B rank across the board. At the trade, of course, he can't dodge, so this means that while he can still defend and guard against attacks to keep the damage low, every hit that does come towards Mad Muscle is guaranteed to land no matter what. But at the trade, Tank Legs also have an innate 30% stacking damage reduction that can build on any other damage reduction that is applied to them, such as through passive Medarot bonuses, through guard boost, guard heater, or anything else that applies a boost to their damage reduction. They get an extra 30% packed on top of that, which means it's going to be just a little bit harder to take Mad Muscle down from your average hit for 1 or 2 hits. And packing damage reduction at 1697 for his melee and 1691 for his shooting resist, it's going to be pretty tough taking this guy down because he has relatively solid armor, but he's definitely got the damage reduction going in his favor. As far as armor is concerned, though, he's packing just about 4200 for the head, just shy of 3200 per arm, and just shy of 3900 for the legs. While he's a little lighter on the armor per se compared to most other typical bulky tank leg types, and I guess that is kind of to be expected with a very unique half split down the middle kind of design that he's got going for him. That is to be expected. But compared to most other tank legs, though, Mad Muscle has one extra advantage that most others that are not boss types don't, and that is his actually much higher base mobility at 692. Where most tank legs tend to sit between 4 and maybe even 500 at best when it comes to mobility, unless of course you're someone like Bisha Mokubera, which is a boss type at 800 something. Mad Muscle actually is packing some pretty solid speed as far as tank legs are concerned, and this most certainly will work to his advantage as far as keeping a speed factor is on the table as far as tank legs are concerned. All this being said, though, as a pure set score, as nice as it is to see Mad Muscle back, unfortunately, I do have to grade him on the much lower end at about a 4.5 out of 10. Primarily not for the fact that his kit is very strange or it's incompatible or too thrown together and very scattered. His kit is relatively consistent, but it's very gimmicky. Between Trap Clear and Trap Buster, they do basically the same thing. The difference is Trap Clear actually is something you have to actively use, where Trap Buster as a leg ability is something that will trigger on its own when procced. But it still does make it clear that no matter which way you choose to go, he's going to make it abundantly clear that if there are traps in the field, there won't be when he hits the center line. And with Break and Press, while having gravity attribute skills is nice, especially for the heavy punish, they are also notably lower on both the power and the heating and cooling that most others typically will tend to sit at. With a base power of mid to high 500s between both of these, you're really not going to be hitting very hard, and especially if you attack somebody who's triple heavy, you're not going to be hitting him as high as you really would want to while he's on the field. And with heating and cooling between the low to high 400s, speed is most certainly not Mad Muscle's game. While the success is there, he's not going to be hitting very hard, and he's most certainly not going to be getting to the line anytime soon while he's there. As mixed parts, though, I do have to rate him just a little bit higher at a 5 out of 10. Now, while Trap Clear and Trap Buster will actually kind of counteract and contradict each other, and Break and Press do also kind of contradict each other as well, with not really good numbers at that, realistically, the best part of Mad Muscle here is probably going to be his tank legs, because while they are rather strangely only packing one heavy slot, whereas most tanks tend to almost always guarantee two at the minimum 3 guaranteed, it's still going to be a pretty solid leg you really can't go wrong with. For the relatively high base speed there at 692 and very impressive damage reduction in the near 1700s, and of course Trap Buster for extra coverage, Mad Muscle is a model that's not really going to be one you're going to use actively, but it's going to be more of a for the books library model more than anything.